the king of kings. On your knees, dog.
Welcome everyone to the Week 10 TFL show. This is the David Rome and Dan Tirico show. Just want to go ahead and state right off the bat, Dan Tirico is not here today, so we will be bringing a special guest to co-host with Rome here. So in just a minute, we'll bring him along into the show. But first, right off the bat, we're going to get into this. We're going to discuss some of the results from last week, the locks. Then we're going to get into a couple of new segments and go over the name changes and also what the playoff outlook is going to look like. But let's go ahead and bring in my co-host for the show, Commish. Are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Commish, welcome to the David Rome and Dan Tirico show, and I thank you for helping out while Dan Tirico is dealing with some personal issues. You know, when you can't pee, that's a problem. But welcome to the show.
Thank you, and yeah, Dan, just want to say I hope your father gets well soon, man.
Well, there went the whole he can't pee excuse. All right, try to make it nice.
Hey,
but, yeah, you know, all the well wishes to Dan, and you know, take your time. The show will be here waiting for you when you get back. Anyway, Week 9 results. Let's go ahead right now. Congratulate the JC Beach Bums.
Yay.
Getting off the schneid, getting your first win, and in rivalry week. You told me? All I know is that you were a week too late, because I picked you 2 weeks ago, you bums. And you lost then.
Properly named.
Exactly. So it's Johnson City bums, in my opinion, instead of beach bums. But Week 9 results. We had JC get their first win. We have some winning streaks still intact. We got some losing streaks still intact. We'll go over all of that in our new segment later on called Who's Hot and Who Is Not. But let's go over the locks from last week. I myself went 1-1. I had locked Havoc Hawks, who were able to get a win, and Murphy's Law, who decided to lose again during rivalry week. Thank you so much. So that, and actually, this is going to be the end of the locks with Dan Tirico not being able to be at the show this week or possibly next week. But so we're going to stop the locks. So that finalizes me at 13-3 for the TFL. And Dan actually won both of his matchups last week. He had Big Orange Army. Way to go, Commish. And the Kings. So that brought his final record to 10-6 in the pros. So with that all said and done, that means I won. Yay! In the TFL.
Just got a quick question for you, though, there.
Quick question.
Yeah, a quick question. Are you ending it just because you lost the last couple of weeks?
Are you
yes. Are you ending the locks just because you lost?
Yes, that's. I'm kind of bitter. I have 3 losses now. I went into last week with 0 losses. So yeah, I'm not happy about that. So I've stopped it. I lost again this week. I said I can't have this. 2 weeks in a row of losing. If I kept going, Dan was going to catch up to me, and I wasn't going to allow that. That's just the way it is. I'm sorry. But with Week 9 being over, that was week number 2 for Rivalry Week. We now have a list of teams that are getting new names. Sriracha Angry Chickens, Bromy's Homies, Senbots, right?
Skinbots.
Skinbots. I'm never going to get that right. Thank God that's changing. We'll get to that later. Outkicked My Coverage, the Northeast Flying Bombers, Murphy's Law, who only have 2 losses, and they both happen to be during rivalry weeks, and the Alpaco Loco. We haven't gotten all our names submitted in yet, but here are the new names. Bromy's Homies is being renamed Down on a Limb. Yeah. That's great. Thanks, Will.
Will's last name is Lim, for those of you that are not aware.
Yeah, thanks, Will. Nothing nothing like being down on a limb. Yeah, this show just got R-rated. The Skinbots are now going to be known as the Fembots.
Appropriate as well.
Right. I agree. Outkicked my coverage. You know what? We're going to wait for that one. We'll wait. Northeast Flying Bombers are now going to be named the Wiggles.
Wiggle, 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 yeah.
Wiggle.
That is the children's show, The Wiggles, I believe?
Yeah, that's the children's show, The
I think
Wiggles.
he said that, yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't doing no LMFAO.
My bad.
Nope, this was Wiggles. But not a bad idea for music later on in the show.
How can you not do that? I mean, you know.
I don't know. I wasn't thinking about it. So, the teams were still waiting for submissions
I
on.
could show how white I am and say wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Yeah, that's pretty white.
Amen.
We got Sriracha Angry Chicken still waiting for their name. Murphy's Law still waiting for their name, and El Paco Loco still waiting for their name. But, and I think probably the best name change ever is Outkicked My Coverage.
Yes, and before you announce, let's just point out that you were off to a fairly strong start.
You were.
Kind of surprised some people given the team that you were originally and that you had taken over for. I think you surprised a lot of us.
I mean, he did start the season 4-1. Outkicked My Coverage, came right out the gates. We talked about it weeks ago. And they've all of a sudden started to slide.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be talked about a little bit later as well, I believe. No, they won't. They are on a 4-game losing streak, so we'll just get that out of the way. Now, they have been renamed Interceptors 2.0.
Ouch.
Ouch is right. That's like a sick burn of all burns that could be sick burned.
And you know, he may not be as offended by that, but those of us that have been in the league at least the last 2 seasons know what a burn that is.
I mean, the team, when he took over the team, he had to have known, oh, God.
Oh, he had a mess.
He had a mess. He resurrected it, and all of a sudden a mess. Yikes. Anyway, those are your current new name changes for the TFL. We're still waiting on, like I said, a couple more teams. We'll get those out to you as soon as possible. Maybe there'll be a breaking news segment later on in the week. But let's get into our new segment called Who is Hot and Who is Not. What do you think we should go with first?
I say who's not.
Who's not? Who is not hot?
Wow.
Wow. I liked it. It sounded good to me. Let's go with top of my rankings here of the who's not, and that goes to the Central Wildcats of the NFC South.
I agree with you there.
Not sure what happened to you. You came out the gate 3-0, looking strong. Very, very strong. Then you thought, let's start losing. And you haven't won since. 6 losses in a row, 1-3 in the division, 3-5 in the conference. Looked promising, not so much anymore.
Yeah, and what's crazy is, as far as overall scores, he's not really doing that bad. I mean, he's been into triple digits in I think 4 of those 6 games. He hasn't been able to get a win. I mean, he's 2 of his losses came against teams that scored over 150 points.
Yeah, it's dems the breaks. Fantasy football.
Speaking of which, I'd like to see the coulda woulda on him.
Yeah, you'll look that up. Let's get into team number 2. Team number 2 on my list is the Fembots, or previously known as the Skinbots, who also started somewhat strong. They were 3-3, halfway through, decided let's lose the next 3 games. They're on a 3-game losing streak. It's very upsetting. I feel sorry for you. 1-3 in the division, 2-6 in conference. just not getting those wins like you were going to, I think. I'm sorry.
Yeah, actually, I have my second who's not as loose ends. Because kind of the same story as what you were talking about. 3-3. They have lost their last three. Um, but I mean, I think he's already kind of turned it in for this year. But I mean, I can understand why. He made a lot of trades the last couple of days, which we'll get into. Um, and I had him as my second. I had the Fembots as my third.
Yep. And mine's reversed the same way. Sinbots as the second, Lucens as the third. Yeah, you would think I'd throw Outkicked my coverage in there because they've lost 4 straight as well, but
Right.
they're currently leading their division.
Right. That's
So,
why I had them as my last one. And I
yep, so
only
you
had
can.
4 that are not hot.
Yep. I only got 3. And that loose ends is always at the end.
I had to throw out kick my coverage in there just because of the surprise, that he. I mean, who could have guessed he would have been 4-1? And like I said, we all threw him under the bus. But what about Butt Monkeys turning around going 6-3? We're going to go to who's not or who's hot here.
Who is hot? Absolutely agree. Number 1 team on my little stat here I've got for who's hot is the Butt Monkeys. Started 0-3, not looking good at all. Turns it around, 6 wins right in a row. Hasn't taken over first in his division yet, but I can only assume that that's eventually going to happen here.
Yeah. Yeah, and I got him at number 1 just because he's won 6 in a row. I know he's not really played a lot of stiff competition. He's only had 882 points scored against him. But you start 0-3, you win 6 straight, you got my vote.
Yeah, I mean, wow. Average points allowed is 98.1.
Yeah.
I mean, that is one hell of a defense you've got going on in your 6 victories. That is the best points allowed in the league overall.
But I think you gotta put in a very close second, if not a tie, from the AFC South, the Havochawks.
Agreed. That's number 2.
That one of the best teams in the TFL right now.
Number 2, Havochawks, 7-2 overall, 5-game winning streak. They're just muscling everybody. I mean, they're averaging. They have points for at 1,260 points, which is almost tops in the league just from an eyeball
I
standard.
believe it is tops in the league.
But it might be with a quick eyeball through 12. Yep, they are the top scoring team right now. 5 wins in a row, averaging 140 points. 2-1 in their division, 5-2 in the conference. I mean, they're going to give Pill Pushers. It's going to be close. I think Pill Pusher just needs one more win to lock that division up.
Yeah. Yeah, but he's in good shape for the wild card, and
Very good shape.
The AFC North needs to be worrying about that because they Daniel in dispensing the pain, he's looking good for the division, even though he's got a losing record. I know some guys hate that, but I like it for the competition and for conversations just as this. Because you've got 2 teams that are really going to be stressing out in rampant lines and every day in wrestling because they're going to be looking down on Havoc Hawks if Pill Pushers end up winning that division. And then you also have to worry about if I end up not winning my division. And also the Butt Monkeys right now, they're sitting at 3-2, and Outkick my coverage is 2-1. So you potentially got 5 teams sitting there fighting for 2 spots.
Oh,
which,
and
I love. I mean,
and we'll be getting into that in our playoff outlook here.
Sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. There's nothing wrong with giving a little teaser, little tease session. But there's still one more team we need to talk about on who's hot, and they're coming from the NFC North. And the NFC North, really, the whole division, the whole North is hot. But the hot of the hot, old school, 5 wins in a row. That means they started 1-3 because they're 6-3. They're 3-0 in their division, 5-2 in the conference. Whew. Disgusting. Wish my team could be that good.
Yeah, old school. I almost was ready to throw them under the bus and be done with them early in the year because they didn't really take off, but he has turned it around. And I don't recall him making a lot of moves really. I'd have to go back and look, but he's 3-0 in that division, which the the NFC North has kind of been the AFC North this season as far as that goes. And I
Oh
know
yeah.
Joby of the Terrible Towels, he thanks me on a regular basis for putting him in that conference.
So you get a lot of stuff from him.
Yeah, he's always
Sounds
thanking me for putting him there.
sounds like some AFC North people I know.
Yeah, yeah, I just got that. It took me a minute, sorry.
Yeah. It's all right. It's all right. It's late. I'm looking at old school's waiver pickups here, and I'm not really seeing anything that would have been an outstanding, not to say that it wasn't an outstanding pickup, not going to dog you here, but it's just his roster. I mean, he got John, he picked up Joseph Randall some point in time in October, maybe during the stealing the underwear cologne thing. Maybe he felt bad for him. That could have been a thing. I don't really see anything on any of his pickups transaction-wise that would have improved his team. So I think his team has just decided that it's time to take business into their own hands.
Yeah, I believe you're right. I mean, in fact, some of the players I see him adding, I know a lot of these are requests. Actually. Well, no, he did. He added Doug Martin, which tonight actually, he's been dropped to third string. So I don't understand that, but like you said, Charles is, he's had his moments. I've got him in another league, and he's had his moments. But Brady really coming on. You remember Brady struggled a lot those first few games.
Yep.
Brady is really. I want to say I heard I think it's 18 interceptions. I mean, it's 18 touchdowns and 1 interception.
Yeah. If I think about it, I think week 4 was that horrible loss that the Patriots had.
AC Chiefs, yeah. That's when his ball went off.
Yeah, and that was when he was 1-3. And now look what happened.
Yeah, and then I mean, look at his wide receiving core, man. I mean, who do you start? That's his biggest problem is picking between those 5.
Sounds like he needs to make
a trade. Like a TCAA roster there.
TCAA? Teams are now available. Anyway, let's get into the playoff.
Playoffs?
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 Are we talking about playoffs?
Playoffs.
Playoffs?
Yeah, and I do want to mention one thing here. I meant to say this to you the other day, David. Getting into the playoffs is you've got all that figured up, right? But the seeding comes from overall record.
I think I have that fixed though.
No, because you got Havoc Hawks as a 5th seed. You got them in as a wild card, or they'd be the 5th seed. But the seeding, they'd be the number 1 seed, even though they're a wild card, just like the NFL.
Wait a second. So if you win your division, you don't get a higher rank?
You don't in the NFL either, sir.
Yeah, you do.
No, you don't.
Dude, if you're trying to tell me the wild card team is a number 1 seed, I'm gonna go ahead and put my headset down right now.
I think it was last year actually. There was an 8-8 team that got in that had to play a away game against a wild card team.
You see the headset?
No, I don't.
Good, because it's not going down. Because there's no way in heck that's how that happens.
I'm pretty sure it is, but if it's not, that's fine. I mean, we could change it up, but I'm pretty sure it is. I'm not gonna swear to you. You got me questioning myself now, but I'm almost positive I remember that.
Well, it's a good thing this is all on tape.
Could have been some that radio chatter that I got confused for what actually happened.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, that'd be. I don't think I've ever seen a wild card team. I don't think so. I don't think so.
You gotta
maybe
you gotta edit this part out because now I gotta look it up.
No, it stays in. That way everyone can see that the commish.
Oh no, that part's fine. That part's fine. I'm talking about the part where I'm looking it up.
Oh, this part are you looking it up? Well, it's all right. We're going to go over the seeds as we speak while you look it up. Because I'm doing it my way, and that's the David Rome TSPN way.
My way.
Were we going Usher or were we going Frank Sinatra on that one?
My way.
Oh, Usher. Oh, keep going.
No, sorry.
Yep, never mind. Sorry, guys. Anyway, let's get to this playoffs. AFC. Currently, the way I think things should be done. Number 1 is Pill Pushers. You have the best division record right now, 4-1, 6-3 record overall. Big Orange Army sits in the number 2 spot with a 3-1 division record, tied with Dispensing the Pain, but overall record is the tiebreaker, and you have a 6-3 overall record, puts you in the number 2 spot. Enjoy that bye. Dispensing the Pain, Dan, 3-1 in the division. You've got a 4-5 record overall. And Outkick My Coverage, currently holding on to the 4th spot, 2-1 in their division, 4-5 record overall. Now, pending on research done by our research man, Havoc Hawks is holding the first wild card position. He has a 7-2 record overall, 2-1 in their division. And Rampant Lions currently hold the second wild card. They have the 6-3 overall record with a 3-2 division with a 5-3 conference. Reason why I'm saying all this is because there's another team with an overall record of 6-3. Actually, 2 other teams with an overall record of 6-3 for the possible wild card spots. Butt Monkeys and Everyday I'm Wrestling. Everyday I'm Wrestling, sorry dog. 0-3 in your division. Not looking good for you. So between Rampant Lions and Butt Monkeys, it had to go all the way down to points scored as the tiebreaker, which is what Rampant Lions currently is holding over Butt Monkeys with an 1,179 points to 1,016 points, if I'm correct.
Okay, I stand somewhat corrected.
Somewhat,
yes. I was right. Wildcard did host a playoff game, but the wild card has to forfeit home field advantage the first 2 rounds. They cannot host until the conference championship round. So we need to decide how we're going to do this one.
All right. Everyone, pay attention to how I have it. That's how it is going to be.
Will's going to have a fit.
Will's going to have a fit because he's not making the playoffs.
I actually like the way you have it because, to me, I've fought for this. To me, I feel like the divisions should be more important. I feel like it sets up more rivalry. When we set up divisions to matter more, it kept people more involved longer in the year. Plus, like I said, it's made almost every game matter. That's one of the things I love about it. So I'm all for doing it in your format.
Well, you would think that if the division is the most important part, and then the next thing to set the seedings off, which is all about the tiebreakers. So if it goes division percentage and then conference winning percentage, for the 4 teams that are currently winning their division, they should be the 4 seeds. So that's how you break that up, in my opinion. I
agree with you. I'm all for it. I
don't recall if that's how that was done last year. You would know more than I do. Somehow I made the playoffs.
Like
I wasn't paying attention.
You made the playoffs because you won a division.
See? Look, I bet you I was ranked in the top 4 with a 4-5 overall.
I can't remember if you hosted. I don't know. Yeah, we'll figure this out. Like I said, it's just like TCAA. Things have got to get ironed out. There's something that's popped up every season. I've been like, oh crap. We'll put it in the charter and make it right.
Anyone who's listening, feel free to add in. That's all I'm saying. NFC, we have once again, this is based off of how I believe the criteria is of seeding.
I think it's how we believe now, sir.
Oh, it's we believe.
Yeah, I was going off of what I thought was said.
We, the people.
Believe in 6 to 8 weeks that he'll be back. No.
Oh. Sorry for no one who's wrestling fans.
Yeah.
Our fault. Anyway.
Sorry for those that didn't understand my video last week. I had 2 questions. What did you say? What was that?
Are you serious?
Yeah, I thought it was cool. Everybody thought I said he's
I thought the editing I did for that was awesome.
Everybody thought he said he's weird. Thought I said Tedzilla.
He's weird?
He's weird. Yeah. So
what?
Hey man. Carry on. NFC.
NFC. Whatever. Anyway, NFC. Alright. Number 1 ranking, Murphy's Law. You have the 3-0 in the division. So does Old School. Tiebreaker, overall record, 7-2 record. Old School's got a 6-3 overall record. That's why it's done that way. Monsters of the Midway is currently ranked 3rd. 4-1 in your division. You got 6-3 overall. Big South Bandits, a team they just lost after winning 5 straight. So they could have been in our who's hot, who's not, but fortunately you just lost. Kind of get yourself out of that, but you're still in the playoffs right now, winning your division. So good job with that, with your 6-3 overall record, 3-1 in your division. We're gonna get to the wild cards now. The NFC wild card picture is so jam-packed, and even though there's, some losing records that are about to get involved here, they're still easy to get right into this mix. But you have Terrible Towels, wild card number 5 seed, 5-4 overall, 2-3 in their division, which is the tiebreaker to the Maynardville Mudfish, 5-4 overall, 1-3 in their division. Then you got Shiver Blasters just sitting on the outside, 4-5 record. Northeast Flying Bombers, 3-6 overall. El Paco Loco, 3-6 overall. Central Wildcats, 3-6 overall. With 3 games remaining, you win out. Very good possible chance that you may be able to get into those playoffs. Possible. But I think there's more teams that have a chance in the NFC than there are in the AFC, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think the NFC is a little more wide open. The divisions are definitely a little more wide open. Even Murphy's Law and Old School, even though they're 3-0, they still got 3 more games to play. The only one that really kind of holds his division kind of in the palm of his hand right now is Monsters of the Midway.
Yep. Let's see here. And that completes our playoff picture. Hopefully it's a little bit more understanding. Playoffs. Hopefully there's some more understanding to it. But we're going to do some research off air just to verify that everything is accurate as well. But to close out our show, we had some trades coming through these last 2 days. Trade deadline is tomorrow before kickoff.
NFC teams, by the way, get active.
Yeah.
I've had 2 that have kind of complained about it. Man, the AFC, I know you guys submit stuff all the time on the website. A lot of people don't even look at that. Get on the horn. There's a contact list. You can get in touch with me, find out who's available, or find out what numbers are. I mean, you would not believe the amount of texts that go flying around in the AFC.
AFC's crazy.
Every day looking for who's available, who's, not saying you guys got to be like that or anything, but, just trying to help y'all out.
Yeah, but maybe because the AFC's got, maybe there's so many teams involved that maybe they're like, can I make the move?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
the AFC's involved. I mean, I don't know what you mean by involved there, but they do set their lineups.
Well, no, I'm saying trade-wise.
So he kind of was a little lame there in the beginning, and kind of gave him sort of his final ultimatum in a way. But he's done a lot better.
Oh no, I'm not saying. I was more in lines of saying for trading, there's more teams that are possible to get into the playoffs. So maybe they don't want to trade anybody because they still have a chance. Maybe the deadline, maybe if deadline was next week, maybe the NFC would have more stuff going on because maybe some more teams may be out of the race. Whereas in the AFC, there's a lot of us who are out, most likely. So we're making moves more than NFC is. That's what I was saying. I wasn't saying NFC isn't setting lineups or not participating. There's just so much to where they have so many more teams that have a chance to still make the playoffs that no one wants to give up anybody yet.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I understand where you're coming from now.
Yep, there we go. Speaking of NFC, we do have one trade in for the NFC. The Northeast Flying Bombers and the Maynardville Mudfish have made a trade. What do they do?
Let's see. Northeast Flying Bombers, they gave up Ronnie Hillman, who's the running back for Denver, and Michael Crabtree, wide receiver. And the Maynardville Mudfish gave up Trent Richardson, which is a running back, and also exchanged for another wide receiver, Andrew Hawkins. He also gave up a 4th-round draft pick. Little odd exchanging position for position, but I'm sure. I was trying to get a break. I cannot get their roster loaded right now. It's driving me crazy.
The way I would look at this trade is you got You got Ronnie Hillman, who has been, I think he's been more of a receiving running back, if I recall. Although he did, I think he scored a couple touchdowns last week. Where Andrew Hawkins has basically been a ball hawk, catching balls nonstop, leading receiver for Cleveland. And I remember in the very beginning of the season we discussed who's going to be the leading receiver for Cleveland.
Yeah,
We were both wrong.
Yeah.
Because I don't know who Andrew Hawkins is when he came into this thing. But he's, I think, pretty sure he's still leading Cleveland with reception. So maybe that's where they were going. He gets rid of Crabtree.
Yeah, and I guess just the upside of Hawkins and the upside of Hillman, that's the only thing I can figure, because Richardson's kind of here and there with Bradshaw coming on this year, and then Crabtree, he's kind of not been the same since the injury, but neither the Niners have been just decimated with injuries and suspensions. They're just not the same team.
Exactly.
I'm sure, and it's another one of those things, you just like some players, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's some players you just like and you just want. So, that's something I can figure here.
Yeah. And then, let's see. That's so far the only trade that's come through the NFC wires. But I'm sure there's people right now thumbing away on their phones trying to get some deals going. Still got time. You got, what is it? Almost midnight now. So, what is that? 21 hours?
Something like that.
2,100 hours. You got 21 hours to keep making deals. AFC. So far, we got Havoc Hawks, who has been busy. Loose ends have been busy.
Mm-hmm.
Havoc Hawks and Everyday I'm Rustling have made a trade. We got Havoc Hawks giving up running back Jarek McKinnon. Everyday I'm Rustling has given up wide receiver Keenan Allen and a 4th-round draft pick in the 2015 draft.
Mm-hmm.
Loose ends and go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to comment on that. That trade I kind of like for both teams. Havoc Hawks is absolutely loaded at receiver, but Keenan Allen has a lot of upside, and Will has a lot of running backs. But that gives him a good young running back. He has the option to extend, and he's losing pretty much all. Actually, he's losing all of his running backs unless he extends any of the season contracts. All of them but Charles, he's losing. I kind of like this trade for both of them, even though they're both loaded at each position. I understand why they did it.
Exactly, and then Havoc Hawks picked up himself a QB as well. Or no, gave up a QB, picked up another wide receiver, right. Trading with loose ends.
Yeah, and DeAndre Hopkins, which I thought was a good pickup for the Hawks. And I talked to Matt. This is the one trade that he made. All of his other trades I really liked, but this trade kind of confused me a little bit. You got the report that Nick Foles was being soured on by the Philadelphia Eagles this morning, and he's out maybe for the year, probably for the fantasy year more than likely.
Fantasy year.
For his fantasy year, I should say. But you got him coming back, but you don't know what you're going to get there. But he has Alex Smith, but at first Alex Smith was decent. And I kind of questioned giving away a receiver like Hopkins, but in the same sense, the more I look at it, like I said, I was one of those that questioned it also. But the more I look at it, I understand why he did it, and I like the move more.
Yeah, and he also got himself loose ends. Also got the Havoc Hawks 4th-round draft pick, 2015 as well.
Right.
And then let's see, we had another trade that went down today. We had Outkick My Coverage and loose ends. Loose ends getting involved again. Mm-hmm. They gave up running back Ronnie Hillman. Outkicked My Coverage gave up Brandon Marshall, linebacker for Denver, and Rashid Jones, safety for Miami. So get a little defense going on to that team.
And I like that trade for loose ends, because when Monty Ball comes back, you don't know what Hillman's going to do, and he's looking at just picking up, and I'm sure he's going to with his salary cap being at $18, but I'm sure he wouldn't have traded for Marshall. And not look to extend him at least 1 year.
Yep. And then to see, we have let's see, those were it for the rest of the day. We did have a couple trades that went down yesterday that included yourself, Big Orange Army, getting involved.
I'm just being in voting right now. Wide receiver, I'm getting wide receiver Kendall Wright, and giving up a 2017 4th-round draft pick. So
you heard it here first.
Breaking news.
Unofficial but official.
Trade committee knows, and looks like it's going to be approved, as are all of them so far.
Yeah.
But
It's
yeah,
gonna take something crazy, I think, for it to be vetoed. Which,
mhm,
I'm sure eventually something like that's gonna be crazily happen. I think.
yeah.
But other than that, that is the TFL show today. Once again, I want to thank the Commish for joining alongside me here. So once again, thank you,
Yeah.
Commish.
Like I said, I'll try to fill in as long as I can, as long as Dan needs.
Yep, and once again, well wishes out to Dan. Take care of everything you got to take care of. This is the David Rome and Dan Tirico show, and we will see you all next week.